Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European crossover webinar. And apologies, I actually just woke up. I was up late watching the debate, which I don't know, a lot of people called it a circus. And if you had the chance to go and see that, I guess maybe it was somewhat of a circus. Let me go on and pop in real quick with the news. And well, let's go and pull up the data and jump into that. We did go on and get German unemployment data as well as French CPI, but as we move here into the States, we do have U.S. GDP as well as Chicago PMI. Now GDP will be out 8:30 Eastern, and then we do go on and have Chicago PMI that will be out at 9:45 Eastern. And bear with me. So the dollar ticked up in Europe on Wednesday, recovering some losses after a two-day fall as traders assessed a debate between President Trump and challenger Joe Biden. The dollar index against a basket of currencies crept up above the 94 mark. After 2 days of losses that followed, the dollar reached a two-month high last week. U.S. stocks, futures, and European stocks traded lower hours after the debate, marked by the Trump's repeated interruptions and chaotic encounter in which the candidates battled over the president's leadership in the coronavirus, the economy, and taxes. I thought Biden did pretty well, and it's no surprise to see the U.S. shares markets down as investors has gone back to worrying about a contested election, delaying the outcome of whether Trump will go peacefully in if he loses. Traders also focused on the U.S. fiscal stimulus. The euro lost against the dollar at 17.22. Economic indicators have recently painted an uneven picture of the economic recovery in Europe, but the morning data were also generally positive. Let's just go on and move into the analysis. Bear with me. So the euro posted a solid rebound on Tuesday. Resistance on Wednesday will be 1768 with support at 1677. So we did go on and make it appear, but only made it appear to 1757. We are pairing back with just a hair below 17, but support at 1677. And support at 1677. And move on to the cable. So the cable closed slightly higher Tuesday. Resistance will be 29 even with support at 2774. So we've actually come down here closer to 28, but we can go and pull back a little bit further. And on to the Australian dollar. Now we did, we had a pretty good close on Tuesday, and we pushed a little bit hard, but we're just trading in a relatively tight range, even though we did go in and see U.S. equity markets or risk come under pressure. But as I mentioned, even with this pullback, we're not seeing the dollar like really rallying or taking off in that sense. So resistance in this case would be 71.59. Actually, the low on this bar, which would be 71.52. With support here at 70.95. And onto the Kiwi. So the Kiwi closed hard on Tuesday, challenging the 66-cent level. You can see coming up here that 66.01, gotten above it. Resistance on Wednesday will be 66.42 with support at 65.45. Not too far to here. Still was trading in a really tight range. If you think about the concerns about a contested election, it hasn't driven too many folks into the dollar, driven too far out of risk. And onto the dollar CAD. Now the dollar CAD closed with the doji. Resistance on Wednesday will be 34.53, and still, once again, you can see we're trading in a super tight range. Will be 34.53 with support at 33.34. And same thing here with the peso. It was a little bit wider range today, but same thing, trading here fairly tight. And don't mean to fly through this, but trying to get it done for quickly as possible. The dollar peso closed slightly higher, pressing against the 22.53. Resistance for today is going to be 22.58 with support at 22.14. But you can see here, still trading in a super tight range across the board. And with the dollar yen, we're pushing a little bit higher, but once again, still trading in a relatively tight range. Resistance on today is going to come in right here across the board, right down these two lower bars here, which is going to be 586. And the only difference here is that support is going to be coming right off of here, which is going to be 527. And with the cash dollar index, the dollar index dropped, closed lower on Tuesday, opening an opportunity to move to 93.77. Support, which would be support, which was, I believe, a bias chart support for the prior day. Resistance will be 94.62, but once again, you're just not seeing a whole lot of movement despite what we saw happen in indices. So we'll keep it at 93.77. The only difference is we're raising this up to 94.62. Once again, we're trading in a super tight range. Let's go move into the cross rates. Nice strong close here on Tuesday, which to follow up on the hammer that we saw on Monday, pressing. Resistance is going to be right there, that low bar, which it comes in at 69.84. And support's going to be this high bar right there, which would be 69.24. And so a strong close here on the prior day. You can see here, it's really pushing here, but resistance coming into today. You can see the low here, the bar coming right across, gives them a target to run for, which is 24.32. And support is going to be this low bar right there, which is 23.40. And trying to hurry up and get out that bias chart for y'all. Support today, and we saw this come off of the lows here, and I believe we had the 64.10 as our bias chart support, and that's going to remain the same. If it was, let's go and pop in here. We actually had 64.32, but you can see the 64.10. They actually took the stops just a hair below it and popped up, and that's going to be support here. And resistance right there, the close here, right there, which is 64.88. Still trading in tight range here with the Euro Kiwi here. Once again, not moving a whole lot. Resistance is going to come across right there with this low bar here. And we did get above that area, but look right there, which is 78.21. I wish we did have 78.21. Great. And still trading in a very, very tight range. Support for the day is going to be right there. The low from the prior day. Not the prior day yesterday, but the prior day right before that. And that would trigger sell stops there, which would be 77.27. Moving on to the Aussie Yen. Saw a strong close yesterday, and whether or not we can push up here, the resistance would be this low bar here, not against the 75.72, but this low bar right there gives them a target, and that's 75.61. And support fairly clear right here. That's a very important level here. This 74.84. Well, support we're holding here, the 35.26, and I believe that was our bias chart support, which it was. And so it's held that. Just took it out by maybe a couple of pips, but that actually has held support. And resistance for the day would be the close right there. This little, all these touches here, but right across that close, which would be 36.06. We actually had 36.08. That's fantastic. That's good there. And let's quickly get out the pounds odd. And just trying to hurry up and get this buy chart posted into the chat room. So sorry about the rushes here, and was up way too late watching the debate and all the analysis afterwards. Support here, and we haven't come down there, but look, is going to be this 79.50. And resistance, the low right here, that low bar, which would be 680.69. I want to hurry and get the bias chart posted in the room, so apologies for once again the late start. I'm not even sure. Just woke up and just started scrambling, and I didn't even have my backup alarm. That didn't even go off, so I'm not sure what happened. But let me go and get the bias chart posted into the room quickly. And thanks for joining us here on a little bit of a late and very quick European crossover webinar.